multiverse theory. It's something fun to play about with. It especially works with video games, alternate realities, infinite possibilities to choose from when making a game. Once you introduce that idea into your game, you pretty much set it up forever. You can do whatever game you want from that point on. Your franchise is limitless. From that point, you could turn a first-person shooter into a hack-and-slash pro golf game for all the fans care. But multiverse theory has the same merits and the same scientific possibilities in real life too. So that means that out there exists reality, with me, who actually likes this game.
Hello YouTube, I'm Darkest101, and I mean it when I say Bioshock Infinite doesn't have a patch on the original. Shit has hit the fan, hasn't it? I'm pretty much setting myself up for a death warrant with this, but why does everyone praise this game? If it's for the story, I guess I could understand that. I mean, good god, this story uses the multiverse idea to its absolute best and throws it all in your face, but from a gameplay standpoint? From a setting standpoint? I'm sorry, but you're bullshitting me if you think that Infinite is better than the original Bioshock. When it comes to undeserved praise, this game is the motherfucking king. Why is that? Well, let's have a look. Setting. Bioshock Infinite did a bold thing by trying to step away from the horror aspects that were prevalent in both the previous Bioshock games. I'd give the developers props for that, but they didn't finish the job. There are long sequences in Bioshock Infinite that play like some of the more terrifying segments of the first two games. They tried to remove the horror element from Bioshock with a fucking hacksaw. It's a bloody hatchet job. And to be perfectly honest, that horror element that works so well in Rapture, it doesn't carry over to Columbia. Why? You are in the goddamn sky. I mean, yes, you still have that element of, once I reach the edge, I'm still going to be trapped. But in Rapture, you were always trapped, always contained, always left in an airtight, sealed bubble that, if cracked, would fucking kill you. In Columbia, you're free to move around when you leave a building. The streets are open air, less constricted. You aren't claustrophobic in Columbia, and therefore when the horror element comes into play, you're less likely to panic, especially considering you can use the skyhooks and skylines to fly around the place like you're on a fucking roller coaster. And then we come to gameplay mechanics. Bioshock Infinite somehow managed to have less gameplay elements than the original Bioshock. In Bioshock Infinite, you can only carry 2 guns at once, which for a lot of people is a bit of a bitch, but to be perfectly honest, you gotta have some limits, and it saves you time getting lost in your bloody armory. I mean, seriously, who has a camera in an armory anyway? But it strips away from everything else too. Hacking vending machines and enemy turrets, there's a vigor for that. Automatic. You can't hack the vending machines to get discounts, they just give you more money. Which is, I suppose, more of a discount, but it's still gonna buy stuff from it anyway. And the Little Sisters? Gone. You can't even do that, which means there are no alternate endings whatsoever. I mean, the game technically doesn't have to have alternate endings, but it's still really confusing when you've gone both Bioshock games with multiple endings and then just cut it out altogether. And with the Infinite in the title, Multiverse Theory, you'd expect alternate endings. Gene tonics, they're gone as well. There's no substance, no meat to the gameplay of Bioshock Infinite. Plasmids come back in the form of vigors, but there's so many of them you keep getting lost. The only new thing that was introduced into Bioshock Infinite was tears. These tears allow certain things from alternate realities to be pulled through to help you through certain areas of the game. An interesting mechanic to be sure, but holy hell, it does not make up for the lack of everything else. I mean, I guess you could also say that the Vigors can be used to make landmines to blow shit up, but hell, in the heat of battle, you're not planning anything for your enemies. If you've got fire in your hand, you're gonna fucking throw it! I'm serious, I got more gameplay variety playing Budokai 2. The layout of Bioshock Infinite also seems to have changed from a chapter-based, open-world system where everything felt dynamic, constantly changing and alive, to being a Call of Duty style on-the-rails linear progression style of first-person shooter. I mean, I really shouldn't compare Bioshock Infinite to Bioshock 1, because by jumping from Rapture to Columbia, the entire game changed. But when you change a game from the previous installments, why would you change it for the worse? In the first Bioshock, splices would appear from anywhere. Just because you eliminated one group of splices in one area, it didn't matter, they'd be back. Here, once you kill the enemies, they're just dead. Not that you need to come back to the areas of Bioshock Infinite, because you're constantly charging forwards. You don't really have time to explore, and why would you? The areas that offer exploration are crammed into small sections between battle stages, like it's some kind of God of War clone. The game has gone from trying to offer an immense open world experience and has instead decided to concentrate on the combat side of things. Bizarrely enough, however, the city of Columbia looks less engaging than the city of Rapture. It looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, but what is Columbia other than a standard run-of-the-mill city? The only thing is that apart from that is the fact that it's in the sky. Rapture had a sort of steampunk style aesthetic. You had to combine that with the fact that Rapture was an underwater city that had gone to absolute ruin. It was such a creative premise for the city of Rapture, but Columbia is pretty much just sky racist. The city's up and running, it's just fine and dandy. I don't know how the sequel to Bioshock could have turned out any worse. This game oozed inspiration and creativity. How did it come out as this? And finally, I have to come to the Handymen. The game's answer to the Big Daddies. The Handymen are featured in battle, sure, but they don't match the Big Daddies. Yes, they are ridiculous ammo sponges, just like their Rapture counterparts, but they are limited in numbers. I can only think of 3 instances in the entire game where I fought a Handyman. The Handymen are just like regular enemies in Columbia. Once you complete the battle sequence, they're all gone. Not that they're any difficult, because the game explicitly points out that they have a weak spot. What? That's also what I have to say for the actual Big Daddy of this game, Songbird. Songbird falls into the same problem with the Handyman. In fact, I think Songbird is even worse than the Handyman. Songbird is seen early on in a chase sequence as he rips a building apart around you, but at the same time, he isn't really attacking you. Songbird only appears in cutscenes and that chase scene I mentioned before. He's not a groaning, roaming monstrosity, neither are the Handymen. They're nothing compared to the Big Daddies. In fact, Songbird, towards the end of the game, the final battle, he is actually integrated into your arsenal before, spoilers, he's crushed by the ocean pressure when Elizabeth drops him outside of fucking Rapture. Oh, right. Yes, speaking of which, Elizabeth is an interesting character to say the least. Bioshock Infinite knew not to make Elizabeth just a standard VIP to escort around the place to protect once the battle started. Her AI actually seems real, as when the bullets start flying, she finds somewhere to hunker down. And every so often throughout the game, she'll throw you salt, money, ammo, or even health. She'll throw you these items when you're lacking one specific area, which relieves the pressure a bit, but never affects your difficulty. But she'll never throw fucking lockpicks your way, which is the one thing I was constantly lacking with this game. Lockpicks. Elizabeth knows how to pick locks. What's behind these locks? Well, it could be new clothes, it could be money or ammo. Most of the time though, I can tell you it's gonna be another fucking lock. Now then, onto the story of Bioshock. Yes! It actually worked! Who? What? How? Why? Oh. So this is what your room looks like. Hi, Benedict Cumberbatch exists in this universe as well. Okay, who the fuck are you, and what the actual fuck are you doing in my bedroom? Oh, I'm Brighter Side of Me 101. Brighter Side of Me 101? I'm sorry, still confused. How do you look exactly like me? Well, that's the way I look exactly like you. I guess you could say that I am you. You from a parallel universe, that is. So you're me from a parallel universe? How did you even manage that? I literally don't know what I was expecting. So, what do you call yourself here? Oh, I'm Darkest Side of Me 101. Sorry. Darkest Side of Me 101? Don't you think that's a bit grungy? Okay. What even is that? Oh, this little doodah. I like to call it the Slaughter. Third generation Gadgeton interstellar combat pistol. Has a nuclear fuel cell good enough for 8 energy bolts. Strong enough to fry your brain, peel the skin off your skull, melt all the muscle tissue on your face. Retro design steampunk special edition. The original Gadgeton blaster. How do you even have that? I know a guy. Very good with weapons. Very steampunk. Well, this was certainly an experience. I was just basically doing a whistle-stop tour of parallel universes. Just trying to see what's different here and there. See how myself changes throughout the dimensions. Hey, is that Bioshock Infinite? What? Oh. Yeah, I was actually in the middle of reviewing it. Oh man, it's a great game, don't you think? No. No, I do not. I mean, aside from the story, this game is crap. What are you talking about? Bioshock Infinite's a great game. I mean, the lockpick mechanic alone is going to keep you invested for hours. Well, I guess the lockpicking system will make you explore more, but the rewards are hardly worth the effort, and there's no simple layout like it was in Bioshock. There's no map to it. So you will explore by yourself, you know? And get yourself lost as well. The lack of a map mechanic makes you remember the way yourself instead of relying on something like a map to begin with. Have you even talked about the gear yet? Oh, you mean the slightly limited, less exotic version of the gene tonics from Bioshock? No, I have not. Hey, the gear is unique to Columbia, but they don't make sense in the world of Columbia. Rapture was a city where no god, no king was in command. It was a city where the artists, where the scientists made their own laws. Columbia, they believe they're in heaven. They believe they're in paradise. Why would you try and mess with paradise if you're that much of a believer? I mean, yes, there is, spoilers, Comstock's underlying plan of burning the world below, but there's no real need for the rest of the people of Columbia to buy into figures that will promote theft and violence like Devil's Kiss or Possession. Okay, fine, budge up. Let's do this sucker together. You mentioned something about the story being good, right? Why, yes. Yes, I did. The main character of the game is Booker DeWitt, who at the start is taken to a lighthouse by a man and a woman on a rowing boat. Reason? Bring us a girl and wipe away the debt. What girl, what debt, who knows? Booker climbs the lighthouse and is shot into the sky in a little pod, reaching the airborne city of Columbia. Which is interesting when you consider you go down to experience the Rapture. Yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity there. After exploring around a bit, Booker gets into a bit of trouble after the brand on the back of the hand is seen by the masses. The brand of the false shepherd. A brand with the letters A.D. Anno Domini, maybe? Oh, come on, it's not a Matrix. Stop trying to see symbolism where there is none. It's my job. You sicken me. Booker makes his way to the statue in the middle of Columbia, where he meets with Elizabeth,
the girl he has to bring back to New York in order to wipe away his numerous debts. After escaping the tower and Elizabeth's guardian, Songbird, Booker and Elizabeth try and find a way to leave Columbia, as Zachary Hale Comstock, founder of Columbia, and Elizabeth's father tries to stop them. Something about Elizabeth being the Lamb of God or something like that. Or maybe it has something to do with the fact Elizabeth can tear apart holes in the universe. Kinda like what you do, eh, Bright Eyes? Never call me that again. I make no promises. Boarding Comstock's airship, the First Lady, Booker ends up being knocked out by Elizabeth when she realizes that he's taking her to New York instead of Paris like he promised to take. Was that necessary, do you think? Well, it shows she's a strong female lead, a good character. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, she could have just flown that thing all the way to Paris when Booker was out cold, but she doesn't. She simply docks it. I mean, she's clearly shown she's very capable of handling it herself and knows her geography. So she could have flown that thing all the way to Paris and dropped Booker out the airlock. She's not mean, she's just upset. Okay, but she's meant to be strong, independent woman, female character, right? Yeah? Well, how come the next section of the game tries to prove that she's anything but? Booker wakes up to meet with Daisy Fitzroy, leader of the Vox Populi, a rebellion fighting against Comstock and the upper classes, for numerous reasons. I did say Columbia was a bunch of sky racists. Fitzroy gives to give Booker back the First Lady if he can gather arms for her and her men from a gunsmith. Booker agrees and heads after Elizabeth, who spends her time running away from him, only to get captured by Comstock's men. But she escapes by creating a tear! This is true. What is undeniable, however, is the bullshit she ends up saying when she starts talking to Booker.
You can get us out of here.
Yes, I just need to supply enough weapons to arm an entire uprising.
And where will we get these weapons? From one of our many friends and allies?
A gunsmith in Finkton should be a walk in the park. What do you say, partners?
You're a liar, Mr. DeWitt. And a thug. But you're also my only means of reaching Paris.
We've seen up to this point that Elizabeth is a strong, capable, independent female character. So why does she still need Booker's help? I mean, she admits, she knows, he's a liar. Can we please just get back to the review? I never stopped. Booker and Elizabeth go to find the gunsmith, Mr. Lin, only to discover that he is in fact now dead. However, Elizabeth, prompted by the mysterious man and woman from before, manages to find a tear that takes him to a new universe where Mr. Lin is in fact alive. After going through all that trouble though, the gunsmith doesn't have his tools anymore, so we have to go and find all his machines. Once you get there, Elizabeth opens another tear to another world, one where the Vox Populi have already mounted their rebellion and Booker has been hailed as a martyr. Martyr? What's a martyr? Nothing. What's the matter with you? When Booker goes to Daisy to get the First Lady back, she refuses, believing him to be a complication to her plans as either a ghost or an imposter of the Booker from that universe. Not only that, she decides she doesn't need such a complication in her plans and decides to have him killed. Booker, however, beats all her Vox Populi friends and has a little dialogue as she threatens to kill a child before his eyes. Jesus! And the cheerful, happy fun times don't stop as Elizabeth stabs Daisy in the back with a pair of scissors. Now that's not what I'd call a slice of life. That doesn't even make sense. It's not really the cut above my usual sense of humour. Please, just stop, okay? You're right. I should really sharpen up my sense of wit. Any more and I blow your fucking head off. They take off in the First Lady only for Songbird to attack and cause them to crash. The man and woman reappear, identifying themselves as the Lutesses, giving Booker a musical key to control Songbird and a clue about where to find the correct instrument in order to control him. Deciding the best way to get out of Columbia is with Songbird on their side, Booker and Elizabeth head to break into Comstock's house to get the instrument. In order to do that though, they have to get the palm print of Lady Comstock's hand. So they break into her tomb and Comstock uses Elizabeth's power to bring her mother back as a ghost. Oh come on, what could you have against this part of the game? There's a dark, brooding storm coming, ready for a big fight. And they even explain how Lady Comstock can work. The Schrodinger's cat scenario combined with Elizabeth's tears create a superposition where she's both alive and dead. I just don't find Lady Comstock scary. It's like this game is trying so
hard to encapsulate on the fear factor of the original Bioshock. Lady Comstock as an enemy does have a use besides being said enemy, as after this, Booker and Elizabeth have to find 3 different truths to put her to rest. Because, you know, all tortured souls can be appeased so easily. I'm pretty sure Arthur Kipps would like to disagree with you there. Who the hell is Arthur Kipps? I'll lend you the DVD after we're done. You can thank me for the nightmares later. What makes this so annoying, however, is the fact that she appears over and over and over again throughout this stage. And apart from anything else, you have to find the truths by following Lady Comstock's footprints, which appear like once every 10 fucking minutes. We already have enough enemies to fight without adding one who can raise the fucking dead. It just pisses me off. We have to fight Lady Comstock rather than Songbird. You really don't like her that much? Well, it's a combination of that, and I don't find Songbird scary either. What? Oh, come on. He only ever appears in scripted in-game events, in cutscenes. I know the game isn't going to unfairly attack me during a cutscene, so why do I have to be afraid of Songbird? I mean, there is that chase sequence at the beginning of the game, but it's not like Songbird is going to attack me outright. I'm not going to be scared of something that only appears in a cutscene. You are a very cruel man, you know that, right? I try my best. Booker and Elizabeth do manage to calm down Elizabeth's deranged, deceased mother, and manage to open the gate to Comstock's house after revealing the 3 truths. That Comstock killed his wife. Elizabeth is not their daughter, and the Lutesses were also killed by Comstock, and yet still exist in all of time and space. However, Songbird arrives before they can reach Comstock's house, and takes Elizabeth away. Booker follows after her, entering what appears to be an asylum for machines and creeped out tech. Now you know you can't say anything wrong with this part of the game. You're right, I can't. Oh my god, you're so... What? You heard me. There's nothing wrong with this section of the game. The ruined asylum setting, hearing Elizabeth's tortured screams through tears, walking past enemies you aren't sure will attack you, running low on ammunition with no vending machines in sight, and no Elizabeth to keep you supplied, avoiding spotlights and jumping at the slightest sound. This place is fucking terrifying! Booker climbs to the asylum to find an old Elizabeth who's gone through with Comstock's plan to burn the world below and regretting every moment of it. She tells him how he would, or has, tried to rescue her over and over again, only to be thwarted each time by Songbird. She then gives him the key to defeating Songbird. Wait, what? I thought the Lutesses already gave that key to them before. No, they were just trying to work it out. See, Elizabeth got it from Comstock so she could give it to Booker, so... Booker is then sent back to save Elizabeth from becoming the woman she is in the future. However, unlike before, she's not so keen on going to Paris when Booker rescues her. No, she wants to go and kill Comstock.
This is where you start moralizing, Booker. You forget. I know you.
I'm not going to let you kill him.
Really? Booker? What are you going to do to stop me?
Not a damn thing. Because I'm going to do it for you.
The two storm Comstock's flagship and confront the racist version of Santa. But when Elizabeth fails to find the answer she needs, Booker smashes his brain and says, "Fuck it, let's go blow up the Psyker, the machine that keeps the majority of Elizabeth's power in check." Using Songbird, Booker and Elizabeth destroy the Siphon before being taken to Rapture. It's here that Elizabeth reveals the true extent of her power and the mystery of Booker's past. How he sold his daughter Anna to the Lutesses to clean up his debt. How he tried to get her back from Comstock through a tear, only for it to close, severing Elizabeth's finger. And then Elizabeth reveals that Comstock is still alive in other worlds. And so Booker asked to be taken to the place where Comstock was born. Only for the heartbreaking reveal that at the baptism after Wounded Knee, while Booker chose to reject the baptism, another Booker chose to accept it, becoming Comstock. In order to defeat him, Booker allows himself to be drowned by an ensemble of Elizabeths from other worlds, so that Comstock will never exist. Which is absolute bullshit. I'm sorry, what? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? Comstock, Booker, and Elizabeth are in their own cycle of 3. One choice separates Comstock and Booker in this timeline, but Killing him before the baptism is just killing Booker for no reason whatsoever. Look, even if they were to take Booker back to the point where Comstock or where Booker was going to take the baptism and kill him before that point, that would only create a third timeline, one where Booker, Comstock, and Elizabeth didn't even exist whatsoever. There's still going to be 1,000 other Bookers, 1,000 other Comstocks, and 1,000 other Elizabeths. Killing Booker won't change that. Even if they kill him before Comstock accepts the baptism, before Booker rejects it, there's still going to be millions of others. We see how poorly this plan to stop Comstock before he even exists works. In Burial at Sea, Comstock still lives.
Why can't you just fucking like this game?
Hey, if the Nostalgia Critic can do a negative review of The Matrix, let me have this.
Bioshock Infinite isn't anywhere near as good as the first game. It's too stripped back in the gameplay mechanics, feels way too long, doesn't look anywhere near as engaging or stunning as the first game, and the resolution of the story makes absolutely no sense if you understand multiverse theory. The rest of the story is pretty damn good, but the gameplay doesn't really pick up. Some of the prices for the upgrades in this game are just fucking extortionate, and it just feels confused. It tries to steer away from the horror elements in Bioshock, and yet at the same time tries to stay true to them. The only superb thing I can say about this game is the relationship between Booker and Elizabeth. Voice acting and score in this game is just fucking phenomenal. Bioshock Infinite is not the game I thought it would be, not the game I wanted it to be, and definitely not the game you all think it is. It does have some genuine thought-provoking moments in it, and a very striking horror-like sequence. But it doesn't hold a candle to its predecessor. I didn't find Bioshock Infinite nearly as enjoying as Bioshock. So for that reason, Bioshock Infinite gets a dark rating of 37.
Are you afraid of God?
Why are you being so negative?
What did you expect? Sunflowers? Bunny rabbits? Rainbows?
Why need to be such a sarcastic dick about it?
Just fuck off.
Fine, jeez.
Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed my review of Bioshock Infinite. If you want to kill me, I don't blame you. But as always, if you have a suggestion for my next review, please drop in the comment section below. I've been Darkest101. You have been watching Darkest101 Reviews. Thanks for watching. Good night, YouTube.
Hello YouTube, Darkest101 here. I'm sorry I've dropped the ball for January with uploading reviews. I really need to stick to the Saturday upload schedule. It's just been so hard to get back into the groove of things. So I'm super sorry this review is especially late. As you can probably tell, it was a bitch to edit, but it was so enjoyable to see the finished thing come out, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making it. And if you feel like watching more of my reviews, if this is the first video you've seen, please click the subscribe button. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, just thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being so patient with me. I hope to see you again next week. On time this time. Maybe. Not sure. Bye.